I'm here today just to talk a little bit about the organisation I set up this summer with Emma, who's unfortunately not able to be here. She's moved to Spain, so she's left me all alone. And to kind of talk a little bit about the role of young people and how we have this amazing opportunity to make really impressive cuts in climate change and how we can really have the biggest effect. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did this summer, which was a WWF organised trip to the Arctic, which took 18 young people from 9 different countries, and we went up there and saw for ourselves really the effects of climate change and why it's happening in the Arctic and what that really means for the rest of us, because it seems very far away and kind of not really relevant to any of us. And then finally I want to talk a little bit about something which is really important and would usually fall in the boring but have to know about column, which is kind of the international decision-making process around climate change legislation and why that's really important this year and next year as well. So I really began to see actually what I'm doing can have a really big impact, and that was really exciting. And so then this year I was studying abroad in Germany, and I saw that this whole other country was working on a completely different level with the environment, and they had, on train stations they had 4 different things for 4 different types of waste and all this kind of thing. And I started to realise, wow, we've still got quite a lot to catch up on in Britain. And then I heard about this scheme to the Arctic, and I thought, well, they're looking for someone from 16 to 21, and I'm 21 now, and I thought, well, they probably won't want me. But, I'll just apply. And, usually when you fill in a form, you write kind of things, that's my greatest weakness is that I care too much, and this kind of things. Total bullshit. But this time I was just really quite honest. I was like, well, la 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 la, and my feet smell, or whatever. And they asked me for an interview, and I got it. And it was really just a real kind of changing moment for me, because I realised, actually, I've got quite a lot of experience now, and I know quite a bit. So I've really got this amazing opportunity. One of the things which really kind of set me off was just realising what's happened there. And the main thing, I won't go too much into the science, but the main thing which everyone is really, really worried about is the level of sea ice, so literally ice floating on top of the sea. And this is what it looked like in 1979 when they started with satellite data from NASA. And this white bit is ice which is old ice, so more than 5 years old. So that's really strong, sturdy ice. It's important. This is 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 2-year-old, and 1-year-old ice. And what you'll see as the years progress, that it kind of expands during the winter and melts in the summer, and it's got this natural heartbeat. You have a heartbeat of the Arctic. But what's happened is that this old ice has dramatically reduced. So 1981, 83, 85, so you can see it kind of expanding. But it's only the 1-year ice which really grows, doesn't it? It's the white ice just seems to get smaller. 92, 94, 96, 98, 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006. That's September 2007. Just there and there, the only bits of old ice left. And this year, it might go even lower. We've already lost this bit of the ice. 3 days ago, this is the newest island in the world. You can go around the North Pole on all sides with ships now. This has never happened in human history. Over the last 200,000 years, this has never happened. And this is happening 50 to 70 years ahead of what's been predicted. And that's why the Arctic is such a warning signal. And that's why we were there, because this is the first tipping point which we're passing. And it is frightening. It really is, because it's going to change how our climate works. These tipping points mean that we're now moving to a whole different level of stuff. And so it's not just the sea ice. It acts as like a bookshelf. If this is the land ice, that's what we've got to worry about in terms of rising sea levels. The sea ice acts as kind of like the stoppers on the side, but now that's gone, this starts to fall off, and that goes into the water, and that's when we see the sea level rising. So you can see why people and the scientists are really pretty shit scared about this. And it's a real call to action for us. It really means that we don't have time to talk anymore, we need to start doing. And that's why I'm so impressed with all of you, because you have been doing, and you have been showing other people how to do that as well. And that's just absolutely awesome. Having learned so much and having done so much, and we thought, oh God, what are we going to do? And we'd learned about this thing which was in America, which is called the Energy Action Coalition. And we heard about this thing in Canada called the Youth Climate Coalition of Canada, and we thought, that's quite interesting, because we really like working with young people. They're full of energy, they're passionate, they'll go for it. They don't sit and moan, they go for it. And it's so important that we as young people take that energy and roll with it. And we thought, okay, well, there's probably one in England, but neither Emma nor I have heard of it there. So we thought, okay, well, we'll set it up ourselves. It was kind of exciting. And what we're all about is trying to unite diverse groups of young people to really voice our generational concern about climate change. To say it's not just about this is going to happen in 100 years' time when we're not around. Like, in our lifetimes, we're going to see real changes. This is just the first. And we're going to have to pay for it and live with it and deal with it. So how come our voices are not being listened to in government, in business, in international decision making? And it's really important that we're very, very strong and powerful on that. And we can be. And we thought, okay, well, we'll do that. We'll go out to, you know, the youth wings of political parties. We'll go to brownies and sports clubs and dance groups and anywhere where young people get together, school councils, whatever. Anywhere where young people can get together and say as a group, you know what? We're concerned about this and we're going to do something. So that's what we're all about. And it's really important, I think, that we as young people realise the power we have. It's difficult sometimes to think, well, like, I can't remember, you said in your application video, you know, I'm just one person, you know, and yeah, I do my recycling and I cycle, but like, really, how much is that changing things? Well, let me tell you, if you go and see your MP with 5 friends and say, and really go for it, that is going to have more effect on him or her than it does with 100 old ladies talking about a broken pavestone. It's so important that we realise that the power we have in the media, with our peers, with our parents, with people in power, we as young people have a really important role to play. And we can lead, we can be brave. We don't have the kind of cynicism which experience builds up. You know, we can dream, we can think big and say, that's so exciting that we have that power and we need to use it. And how are we going to do it? Well, this is where it becomes really cool, because we have so many tools. You know, we've talked about writing articles or going to MPs or starting your own projects or talking to people. Just talking about it is so powerful, and giving a good example. One of the things we have is the internet. We have social networking. Now, if you speak to anyone over the age of 30, and I hope I don't offend anyone who is here, talk to them about YouTube or Facebook, they don't really understand it. It's kind of frightening. Like, they don't really know what to do with it. We do. Like, it's like mobiles. We've just grown up with them. Like, that's how we work. So one of the things we have are kind of like viral videos, which we make, kind of like Karen's Footprint Friends, using this technology to our advantage to connect with people, to inspire people, and to get them to act. And I really hope you guys continue with what you've been doing and find new ways to change things, because you can. So well done.